Hey guys, how's everyone doing? You all hear me okay? Move the chat onto the screen, that way we could get going. Oops. All right, so let's get started. Welcome to the daily analysis. Today is Wednesday, the 6th of June, 2018. Time is 18:01 here in the UK. You're looking at a GBP, actually, let's switch up to a AUD/JPY daily chart. Now, what we're going to do in today's analysis is we're going to look for price action setups, reversal trades, continuation trades, all kinds of setups. I'm going to review yesterday's setups. I shared a few setups yesterday. And yeah, just do the general thing we do in every analysis. So let's get started. All right, so first we'll start off with AUD/JPY. When we opened up yesterday, I said that I was in an AUD/JPY trade. Obviously, that trade didn't go too well. AUD news came out and completely turned price around. Ended up getting out just a little bit before my my stop, but not much at all before my stop. Yeah, because price turned around. Ended up being a failed trade. I mean, failed trades happen, so it didn't really bother me too much. USD/JPY, similar deal, but this one I closed out a lot earlier. USD/JPY was another trade I took yesterday. This one I got out almost at break even, very close to break even. After AUD/JPY failed, it looked like this one was going to head up to. Didn't look like it was going to move in the direction I wanted it to move, so I got out of this one pretty quickly. So that one didn't work out either. Now the third trade I mentioned yesterday was GBP/AUD short from this resistance area for a continuation. Now this one is going well. So one pretty much hit stop loss. It was closed out just a little bit before stop loss. One was closed out almost at break even, but with a minor loss, and one is not hit target yet, but it's going kind of okay. So if this trade hits target, I'll have my return is going to be higher than my loss this week, of course, because of my risk to reward ratio. But it still has to hit target, which is not quite happening yet. So I'm going to take a little while. I'll show it to you guys on the 4-hour. This is roughly the trade. This isn't the exact numbers, but roughly something like this. So probably going to extend that target, to be honest. So how do you guys do on the trades? There's not many people in here today, is there? Or at least there's not many people typing. I can't see how many people are in the room. This webinar's at a bit of a weird time. I was supposed to do it this morning, but something came up, so I have to do it later. So did anyone take AUD/JPY, USD/JPY, and GBP/AUD, or any of them? Stopped out on AUD/JPY. That makes sense. Oh, you got out break even on both of them? Not bad. That was lucky. I think the delay on this stream's a bit too high. Oh well, it is what it is. If it's a bit too high, it's a bit too high. I'll make sure it's not next time. Yeah, USD/JPY was easy to get out of at break even or close to it, but AUD/JPY, unless you were paying close attention, but even then I probably wouldn't have exited too early. The only reason I exited USD/JPY was because AUD/JPY was already going really bad. But I would not personally have exited AUD/JPY that early. Yeah, that's just me. Anyway, doesn't really matter. You got into GBPAUD, Ash, Zigamantis, Ziggy, Ash, whatever. Oh, you're saying you didn't because of the time it triggered. Yeah, I took a quick look at the forum at that time. I woke up, checked my charts, and I saw the trade. Had triggered. I checked the forum, but I noticed that no one had shared the trade to the forum, so I figured not many people had entered this one. Or at least not many people had shared it on, well, no one had shared it on the forum, sadly. Which is unfortunate. But yeah, it did trigger at a bit of an awkward time. It was around 2 a.m. 2:30, I think it was when I woke up. Yeah, 2:30 is when it started, when it went down. Then it went straight back up. Well, not straight, but by morning, by time I was up, it had started retracing. But now it's headed back down, so just gotta set some pending orders, man. Pending orders would get you into trades like this. Anyway, let's actually look at some other trades. Let's stop talking about trades that are past. So yeah, AUD/JPY failed trade, USD/JPY failed trade, out at break even. GBPAUD going kind of well right now. So let's see how that goes. All right, yeah, fair enough. You don't trade Asian session. I forgot about that, Ash. All right, AUD New Zealand. AUD New Zealand is pushing up towards resistance. I don't really even... we almost never find any trades on this pair. It's just such a messy pair. I don't know why we do analysis on it. But anyway, there's nothing happening here. So let's take a look at AUD/USD. AUD/USD bounced away from this resistance area, came back down, and now is heading up. So it looks like it's going to break through this resistance area now and potentially continue up. So there's no clear setup there right now. Euro AUD reversing from the support area. Things are pretty messy right now across the board. Euro GBP, this pair has just become a complete mess the last few weeks. It's just stuck between these two support resistance areas, bouncing around like crazy. There's nothing we could really do there. Euro JPY has pushed up towards resistance. It doesn't look like it's going to stall on this resistance area. It's a very strong move up. I mean, it might do, but we just need to keep an eye on it, see what it does, see if it stalls at this resistance area. There's no clear setup right now. I think the more likely setup that's possibly going to happen here is a continuation of this bullish trend, because it looks like it's going to start trending bullish now. So something like that. But right now, that's clearly that setup cannot happen until it pushes up and comes back down to it. So we'll just watch this one, and we'll come back to it tomorrow in tomorrow's analysis. Euro USD, just messy at the moment, broken through resistance. So it came down all the way to this support area, turned around, and now it's breaking through resistance. So it looks like this is going in an uptrend too. So we'll just see how this trend goes. We could have a similar situation to Euro JPY where it does something like that and has a continuation. I don't know. We'll just have to see how that one goes. Oops. GBP USD bouncing away from the support area. GBPJPY, this one's hitting resistance. So, you know, it could stall on the 12 hour actually. Looks like it's stalling on resistance. Oh yeah. We actually have a potential trade here. This would be counter to this new trend, so it's a bit of a risky trade. And reversal trades by their nature are riskier than continuation trades. Oh, actually, never mind. Sorry, I wasn't looking at this properly. It is still trending down overall. If you look at it, it's still trending down overall. This looks like just a pullback in the overall bearish trend. So you could draw a trend line through here. Pretty solid trend line. Coincides with this area of resistance where price is stalling right now. So this actually looks like a pretty solid setup. It's forming on the 12 hour, forming on the 8 hour. Let's wait till this candle closes and then decide what to do from there. If this 8 hour candle or this 12 hour candle would probably be better. If this 12 hour candle closes, it's going to close in 3 hours, 48 minutes. 3 hours, 48 minutes. We'll see how this candle closes, and then we'll look if we can get into a short setup here. This has a lot of potential. It's overall trending down. My only concern is we would be countering such a strong, aggressive, bullish move. So when you get such a strong, aggressive, bullish move and you trade against it, you can be asking for trouble, because it can you can get spikes further up. But if you look at the overall picture, we are seeing a downtrend. This downtrend could have ended at this point. It could definitely have ended down here. This could be the end of the downtrend. But overall, you could still argue that GBPJPY is in a downtrend. This is just a pullback. Either way, reversal or continuation, this looks like a pretty decent setup. So let's see how this one plays out in the coming hours. We'll come back to it tomorrow. It may have triggered by then, depending on the time frame. But we'll take a look at it and see how it's progressing on tomorrow's analysis. All right, New Zealand's JPY has pushed up through resistance. Nothing much going on there. New Zealand USD is stalling on resistance also. That looks interesting. It's pretty messy though, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not going to take a trade here. It's just too messy. Too much sideways movement at this resistance area. Yeah, it's pushed up, but just because it comes back down, it doesn't mean it's going to continue down. There's a high chance that it's just going to continue moving sideways. I'm not too interested in that at all. USD CAD, yeah, just some messy movement around here. A lot of pairs are really messy right now. This happens sometimes. So nothing really on USD CAD. USD CHF, come back down to the support area, stalling on support, but no clear setup there. So what do we have for today? Well, we're still short on GBP AUD. We're going to see how this one plays out. Going to see if this one hits target. I want it to get down at least to the 173, well, basically the 1.7400 psych level. But I do think it has potential to go down beyond that, as this is in a pretty strong downtrend. So I'd rather hold beyond that, but that is my initial target. We'll see how it go. We'll see what happens when price hits there. and if I want to extend my target. And we've got GBPJPY, which is stalling on resistance. And I think, yeah, that is it for today. I don't really see a long opportunity on GBPAUD. Could be using what? The 200 SMA. The 200 MA is up here. Oh wait, we're talking about the daily, of course. I don't know. I think that the 200 MA is really good when price first crosses it. So when price first crosses it, then it comes down to it. It will give you, generally speaking, very good continuations. But once price has been above or below it for quite some time, it just doesn't tend to be as strong. I wouldn't really be counting personally on a long here. I mean, it's up to you ultimately, but I'm short. I think this has some pretty good potential. Are there any questions, guys? Ash, you ask this question a lot, and my answer is always the same. We can't really know where my target would be until the candles close, because you can't really just guess. You can't guess how a candle's going to close, so I've honestly got no idea right now. Depending on how this closes, I'd probably have a target somewhere before this next support area. But I just can't be sure until this candle closes. We need to see what what things look like when it closes. Yeah, no, I'm not complaining. Sorry, Ash. Don't take this as me complaining. But I'm just saying my answer is always going to be the same to this question. Until the candle closes, I really don't know where my target's going to be. I can always hypothesize. I can always say, all right, you know, if it closes pretty much as it is now and I'm trading it on the 12-hour, you know, maybe I'll do something like this, roughly. So entry about there, stop loss, yeah, something like that. So that would be roughly 147.42 with a stop at 148.08 and a target at 146.07. Yes, that would be like a rough guess at how I would trade this. Well, if you look to the left, you see price stalling here. So I might have a bit of a tighter target initially at 1.5 as price seems to have like some minor support resistance through here. So that might give me a slightly tighter initial target, which I would most likely extend. But, you know, I might also enter on a retrace, which is something that I've, especially this year, am doing very, very often, retrace entries, because you just get a much better entry. That give me a much better stop loss, much better, much more return. So, you know, it's very dependent on what this candle does and what the following candle does, because that's the candle we would enter on. So, yeah, it's very dependent. Move the SR down and it could be a rebound continuation. A rebound continuation of what? It's trending down, so any rebound continuation would be a continuation of a bearish trend. I mean, if you want to go up to the weekly, I guess you could probably make the argument that it's trending up based on the weekly chart. Even then, this move has been going down for quite some time. I don't see how this is a rebound continuation, man. It's a continuation. Sorry, I don't see how it's a long rebound continuation because there is no bullish trend. It's a short rebound continuation. Or a short continuation, rather. Mick, in the end, you may be right. This could just be a failed trade, and I've already had 2 failed trades this week. It's not like I've not had weeks where I get 3 or 4 failed trades in a row, but that's just the reality of trading. Some weeks you get 4 or 5 wins in a row. Some weeks you get 4 or 5 losses in a row. You know, this trade could definitely go against me. It's only moved in my direction a little bit. So it's not like this is a fantastic trade by any means. I see it as a bearish continuation. There's a very, very clear bearish trend right now, and a very clear bearish trend. Price has come back up to resistance, and it now appears to be continuing down. Now, this isn't the strongest area of support resistance, but it does have a big bounce if you go back all the way to May 2017. So from here it has a big bounce, but recently it hasn't been the strongest area of support resistance. So, you know, it's not the strongest of setups. It could be a failed trade, and if it is a failed trade, then it's a failed trade. But that's just how trading works. If you want to go long, then and you see a long position here, you know, feel free. I just don't see it. I certainly don't see a continuation, because a continuation is a continuation of an existing trend, and there is no existing bullish trend here unless you go to the weekly and then say that it's still trending up, which, you know, you could argue that definitely, because trends are always based on what time frame you're looking at them on. The 1 hour chart trend could be bearish, while the daily chart trend could be bullish, and then the weekly chart trend could be bearish, while you know what I mean. So, you know, technically, I guess it is still trending up on the weekly, but the daily trend is most certainly bearish right now. So any continuation would be a continuation of that bearish trend, not a bullish continuation. Right. If you move SR down to the latest low and price stalls and goes up again, well, maybe. But that's not. I think it's just a terminology thing here. I think that's where the confusion is. When I say continuation, I mean continuation of an existing bullish or bearish trend. I think you mean continuation in a different way. I think it's a terminology mix-up here. So yeah. SK is saying there's a GBPJPY, there's a strong indecision candle on the weekly. All right, there's a bullish indecision candle on the weekly. I mean, that's fine, man. Like it doesn't really you can't really let weekly indecision and stuff like that impact your trades. You know, how many we're trading this probably on the 8-hour or maybe the 12-hour. So 8-hour, there's 3 8-hour candles in a day. So 15 candles in a week. One single weekly candle has 15 8-hour candles or 10 12-hour candles. So within those 15 candles, so much can happen. Within those 15 candles, price can go down and up again. On the weekly chart, it just appears as one single candle with a big long lower wick. But over the 15 candles on the 8-hour chart, what happened was it went all the way down to here, then it went all the way up again. So I wouldn't worry too much about what you're seeing on the weekly chart. That if you let that impact your decision making, it's going to be very tough to ever take any trades. I hope that makes sense. It's a bad explanation, but what I'm saying is a weekly candle is such a long amount of time. You're trading the 8-hour chart here. It's very easy for price to come down, go back up like that over the course of a week. And then on that weekly candle, it'll just look like a candle with a lower wick and a big bullish body. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that. You know, keep a close eye on this GBPJPY. It has some good potential. Keep a close eye on GBP/AUD. Let's see how this one plays out. Let's see how it progresses. Keeping in mind, we have the G7 meetings on Friday, so I'm probably going to close out all positions tomorrow anyway. I don't want to be trading through those G7 meetings. So if this doesn't get a move on towards target, I'm probably going to close it out soon anyway. And if I open the GBPJPY short and it doesn't start moving towards target by the end of day tomorrow, probably going to close out anyway. I'm pretty sure the G7 meetings are on Friday. Just going to double check that. Yeah, they start on Friday and they're all weekend. Definitely don't want to hold through those meetings. A lot of times you'll get attendees of these meetings speaking to reporters, causing massive spikes in currency prices. Even over the weekend, we could open up to huge gaps because of these G7 meetings. But anyway, guys, I think we're going to wrap things up. I'll see you for tomorrow's webinar. Thank you for attending, and I'll see you guys later.